Hi, I'm Auntie Sam, and this is the latest installment of the 4-Minute Democracy brought to you by creatingafuture.org because democracy is not a spectator sport, and we are creating hope when politics are hopeless. It's time the U.S. stood for us. This year's topic: what is money, what isn't money, and where's yours? There is no such thing as money. Money is an invention. A long time ago, people were nomadic. They traded according to need or perceived value. Seashells, meat, skins, beads, herbs, pottery, what they had and what they made. They had what they needed, and they needed what they had. They lived in balance. But then as tribes became regions, necessities of life became commodities, requiring a standard of value so that trade between regions was fair. We settled into towns and became agricultural, and so gold became the first universal currency. You traded what you had for gold and gave that gold for what you needed. Banks created their own local currencies, and it was different everywhere you went. So in 1791, the first national bank was created by the government. But by 1933, we had to end the gold standard because there just wasn't enough gold for all the money that we needed in order to trade fairly. So now your banknotes were worth what the Fed agreed they were worth. And that, my friends, is the value of your money, whatever someone tells you it is. So today, money is electronic. Credit cards, checks. But what if the power went out? What if all the hard drives crashed? What would you have then? Nothing. You'd still have your stuff. So here's what it comes down to. Money doesn't exist. Money is an agreement. We take money as a truth so that life works. We work for a living so that we have money to live. Now, the global economy has discovered that it has no money, and hence our current economic crisis. We have to contract in size and scale. It's all been about more, and bigger is better. But that's not sustainable. This is a natural self-correction. We're ready for comprehensive restructuring of our systems. We need sustainability. The U.S., with 5% of the world's population, consumes 25% of its resources. 67% of our energy comes from importing oil from foreign countries. We even import more goods from other countries than we produce ourselves. 150 years ago, the idea of factories was to produce the goods our people needed and to reward those workers by making those same products affordable. Today, by exporting our jobs overseas and then importing the products back, we, the citizens, can't afford to buy the goods. Companies believe they're saving labor costs, but now we're wasting resources, fuel, and time by shipping overseas. The product actually becomes more expensive when you add back the indirect costs, and we're not paying those costs. These costs include environmental damage and health hazards, which have a real dollar amount attached. The U.S. has a $13 trillion gross domestic product, and the citizens owe $13 billion on their credit cards. But change is frightening. All we hear from the media is, he wants to redistribute our wealth. Well, actually, under FDR, the wealthy paid 91% in taxes. He's a socialist. Well, let's take a look at the definitions of nationalism and socialism. Socialism means that everyone has exactly the same thing, which won't work here in our culture or economically. It's relevant only in the concept of equality, giving everyone the resources they need to live well. Nationalism, on the other hand, means operating countrywide. What institutions do we have that are nationalized? The highway system. Our traffic lights have red on top so that colorblind people don't crash. What if stop signs all had different shapes? Now, the United States Post Office is also a nationalized system. I can mail a letter everywhere I am, it costs the same, and it'll get there. Now imagine national health care. You can see a doctor anywhere you go, it costs exactly the same, and you'll get prevention. Ooh, that's scary. Also, imagine a national energy-efficient light rail system. It'll create thousands of jobs to build it. Instead of bailing out an industry whose function is outdated, refit the auto factories to produce light rail trains, and solar panels, and wind turbines. We can't just throw money at each industry and hope something new happens. TARP, Bush's plan, gave states money for transportation upgrades. However, it's funding pet projects instead of being used to develop a comprehensive gas-reducing system. We have to work on a national scale. Instead of burning through $700 billion, let's hold the money until we know how to use it wisely. We need to look at best practices across the country and replicate what works. We shouldn't waste funds recreating the wheel. There are schools that successfully teach kids of all backgrounds. There's cities like Portland with reduced car usage, and there are clinics that provide cost-effective preventative medicine to communities. Most importantly, we have to keep politics out of decision-making. People with power need to back off and do what's best for the USA as a whole. Of course, Congress members want money so that they can get reelected, but they have to accept that allocating funds for the greatest good is crucial. So here's Auntie Sam's plan. Trickle-up economics. Instead of bailing out the banks and the industries, give the billions to the people to spend on our debt. We'll pay off our credit cards, saving banking. We'll pay off our mortgages, saving housing. We'll pay off our hospital bills, saving medicine. We'll pay off our student loans, saving education. And without any debt, we'll go shopping, saving retail. So that's trickle-up economics. Jon Stewart heard it from me. So what can you do? On the small scale, carry your own coffee mug, your own silverware, and your own shopping bags. Why use a plastic fork just once and then throw it in the trash? Don't eat high fructose corn syrup. That one dietary change alone will save millions of dollars in healthcare. Change your driving habits. Coast slowly as you're approaching a light instead of gassing and braking. On the large scale, we're at a singular moment in history. The people have stood up and said, we want change, and yes, we can. Yes means that we actually approve of Obama's agenda. We are the ones that have to make it happen. And can means we've got some difficult decisions and changes to make in our lives, but we can do it. It's essential that we drive the change. We have a representative democracy. Our elected leaders are the voice of the constituents. And the job of our representatives is to represent us. But if we don't tell them how to vote, then they can vote however they want. And who are they going to listen to? Big businesses and lobbyists. But they want you to re-elect them. Your one opinion represents 1 million people who didn't make the call. Tell your Congress how you want them to vote. And then if they don't vote that way, kick them out. So here is Auntie Sam's 4-minute democracy. Put your 4 reps in your phone. You have 2 senators, 1 House rep, and the White House. Anytime the news upsets you, call all 4. The White House, 202-456-1111. Your representatives get their addresses and phone numbers from creatingafuture.org. And what happens when you call? Hi, this is A.C. Katz, one of Mr. Wyden's constituents.
Hi, what's your address?
1380 Northwest 133rd, Portland, Oregon 97229.
Thanks. How can I help you?
I'd like to save Social Security by taking off the $90,000 income cap.
Thank you. It's been noted.
Now, how easy was that? About 30 seconds. It only takes 1 minute per call, 4 minutes altogether. And that is Auntie Sam's 4-minute democracy. Because there is no us without you. Follow us on Twitter at the 4-Minute Democracy. Hi, I'm Auntie Sam from creatingafuture.org because democracy is not a spectator sport and we're creating hope when politics are hopeless. So here's my rant about everything happening with the Senate healthcare reform, the Senate and the House. Okay? This is criminal. And it's happening right in front of our eyes. This one man is powerful enough to stop all the healthcare reform all by himself, and it's been reported on the radio and on TV that his wife is a consultant to a company whose clients are healthcare insurance companies. Worse, he's actually doing the complete opposite of what he said he was going to do for about 4 months ago in press statements, on TV, news clips. It's on the record. You can look up the videos of Lieberman on YouTube. So, what this healthcare reform is that the Senate is passing, the Senate healthcare reform is permission for the insurance companies to set whatever rates they want, require us by law to purchase it, or be fined, which is just more of their money going to them because you wouldn't play their game, which I believe is extortion. It doesn't matter to them what the quality of the actual care that we'll get out of this bill is. And it doesn't matter to them because they've already got our money when we pay our monthly premiums. We give it right to them. And since I, as an insurance company, would like to keep most of what I already have, it doesn't matter to me if I give you more back of your money in healthcare than we actually borrowed from you. It doesn't matter if it's supposed to go back to you or not. All right, so now here's Auntie Sam talking. I pay about $7,000 a year for care for my family of 4, and maybe instead of giving the insurance companies $7,000 a year, no wait, you know what? I don't want to go all into this. I'll go into that later. Cut. 3, 2, 1. Anyway, this healthcare plan is being put together by everyone except Obama. It's being put together by Congress. And Obama was the one whose healthcare plan the public actually voted for by an actual vote at the last election. Democratically, the voting public already voted on what kind of healthcare plan we wanted. And the Senate is writing, the plan that the Senate is writing includes almost none of it. And it does include plans from other candidates that were offered and that we rejected at the last election. So at the last election, we proactively voted against this plan that's actually being rolled out right now. Listen to our voice. Senators, you, yes, I'm listening to you. You work for us. It's not the other way around. If you're going to make decisions on our benefit, have a conscience about it. And cut.